Uh-oh. What's up, guys? It's time, almost time, I should say, for another episode, another episode of the jankityasspodcast. Technically, this is an episode, but it's really just a half episode. So, obviously, I'm playing phone games as well. I've been out of town for a very long time, pretty much. So what this actually is this is what I managed to record in September of 2022, which was, I was about to put out another episode. I'm not going to explain everything here. That's going to be at the end of the month here in October. This is just going to come out, pretty much as soon as I'm done editing and all that stuff. Just a kind of a teaser, and really I'm just kind of getting used to some of changes, which again I'll explain later. But as you can see, one thing you can see is I do have a new mic stand here. It's one of these, here, let me show you. It's a little bit more of a professional one that has like the covered wire thing and everything, and it's not, full of springs. Actually, that's a lie. It is full of springs, but it's different, all right? And as you can see, I also got like a nice little pop filter on this thing instead of the big bushy mic cover, which I still have. But I mean, this thing's, looks like crap. Anywho, so yeah, this is what I had managed to record kind of midway through September. And then at the end of September, I had some things going on and I had to leave town. I wasn't really able to take my stuff with me, and basically my life went fully upside down and had been on hold until pretty much now. Let's see. So I managed to come back to LA finally in the beginning of September. Sort of just been catching up with stuff, and well now, and I mean I can't stay. I have to still go back and forth, but I'm gonna have at least a couple consistent episodes here. Hopefully, I'll be able to start recording from my hometown as well, because I'm gonna be back and forth quite a bit. But in any case, yeah, like I said, this is just what I managed to record. There are going to be a bunch of changes, which I'll explain in the first full episode. That's going to be at the end of the month here in October. But for now, here's just a little teaser for you guys. Actually, it's not even that little. I managed to get like an hour. I even got articles and all that stuff. Yeah, so here you go. And don't, obviously I'd say some bullshit about, got some more coming out this month. I don't, but it is actually going to be for this month. You know what, I'm going to shut up, just enjoy this, and I will see you guys at the end of this month, which is October. And yes, bye-bye.
Are you listening to this show and thinking, man, I'd like to start a podcast, but I don't even know where to start? Well, Buzzsprout has the answers for you. Buzzsprout is a podcast hosting service that provides a number of valuable resources to help you on your podcasting career path. For one, Buzzsprout offers indefinite hosting of all your episodes and allows you to host as much material as you want, depending on the type of subscription that you opt for. Buzzsprout also provides a means for getting your show hosted to every major podcasting platforms such as iTunes, Pandora, Spotify, you name it. In addition, Buzzsprout also provides various means to get your show monetized through various sponsorship and affiliate programs, links to other paid hosting platforms such as Patreon and YouTube, and your own personal newsroom to learn all the tips and tricks for optimizing your podcast for the greatest return on your investment. If you're hearing all this and you're still interested, you can go to my link below and receive an Amazon gift card for starting a podcast hosting subscription that you'll receive on the second billing period of your podcast journey. Everyone has something to share, and there's no time like the present. Join Buzzsprout today.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. You guys know what time it is. It is podcasting time once again. I'm not doing the intro this time. I'll do it later, and it'll come up before this. Magic. Right? I gotta apologize beforehand because my voice is a little screwed up. I did a couple of quick rips off the bong before doing this, and A, it's been a minute, and 2, I get screwed up because whenever I took the drag, I came down here, right? It kind of cut off my airway a little bit instead of, leading forward. So I'd be straight on. And I kind of had, well, you can hear it. I kind of gave myself a little bit of a Big J moment. For those of you who are Legion of Skanks fans, he was watching their pod where he took a dab and started coughing, but was doubled up like this, and it was restricted his airway. So like he kind of just like went in and passed out on air. It was actually pretty funny. Damn. I'm ripped up. Speaking of ripped up, it's time to rip up another craft beer. This time, we have, coming from the Hot Butcher. No, wait a minute. Oh yeah, Hot Butcher is the brewery, and this is, no, it's sale. Well, of course you can't see. Ale America, the Beautiful, with a nice hoppy, if I get it right, American flag there. Made up of, well, yeah, you got a couple of hops where the stars are supposed to be, and then these are red ropes of like vines, leaves, whatever. God damn. It's like the stalks, I think. Kind of like wheat, but barley. Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. It's barley wheat strands. This is a American pale ale, so not like an Indian pale ale, where it's like really hoppy with the preservatives and stuff. American's a lot tamer. Jesus Christ. And it says this is specifically done with mosaic hops. What that means, I have no idea. But let's get a pour going. Let's get that nice ASMR. And, oh yeah. I don't know if you can hear that, actually. This mic's pretty sensitive. Or, lack of sensitive, I guess. First sip. Yeah, that's not bad. It's got like the, APAs. I don't think that's what they're called. But it still has the bitterness that IPAs do, but it doesn't have the kick, right? And you'll also notice that it's a lot more, it's not as thick as the regular IPAs. Like even on the camera you can see through it almost. Like I can kind of see through it. I mean it's a colored semi opaque liquid or whatever. I still got a little bit in the can. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, like there's obviously still some sort of mass in the liquid because it's not just pure water, and there's probably a little bit of a sediment floating around in there that will eventually come out whenever I let the tip of this beer just kind of sit. Inevitably. But let's see if we can keep that from happening here today. And of course, for those of you watching, you'll notice I still got my trusty drinking horn. I haven't really plugged this one in a while, but that's Valhalla Vineyards. I'm sure they make other stuff. I never really looked, now that I think about it. I just got this off of Amazon and just kind of moved on with my life, pretty much. But I'm sure they got some other cool stuff. Like, you could probably buy... You know what? Let's actually look right now, because I have the internet and all of its magic. Valhalla Vineyards. Oh, it's a winery in Roanoke, Virginia. That's interesting. I wonder if they do... Let's see. We are open. No dogs allowed. That's too bad. Anyways, yeah, they're... Ooh. This looks... I'm looking at the pictures of, like, where they're located, their estate or whatever. It's a little midsummery. Like, they're... I'm seeing a picture of a nice... small rolling plain with a church-looking house sitting on it, and I wonder. Buy at the winery. Contact and directions. Home. They don't even have like a merchandise page. Huh. Home. Let's see where home is. It's just the same bullshit. Okay, well, I guess either this horn is like some kind of scam somebody sold, or so. It's got the same logo, so I don't know. Whatever. If you're VA is Virginia, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. There's no other. There is no other. Well, Vermont. That's VM or VN. I'm button up on this thing here. Give me 1 second. Let me fix my... There we go. Without risking myself too much. Yeah, so if you're ever out in the middle of Virginia, you get a chance to check out that place. It's Roanoke, Virginia. Check it out. Not where... Actually, let's see where this beer is from. Let's see. Bedford Park, Illinois. Sorry. Yeah. Once again, that's Ale America, the Beautiful. In case you guys forgot. I might have forgotten. I probably did. I'll forget a few things, but anyways, life's slowly been getting better this month. It's like the middle of the month right now. Obviously, later in the show, it's going to be later in the month. But yeah, like I said, things are slowly starting to get better. At least our home life is kind of swinging more our way now. I'm not worried about stupid shit anymore with our landlord and all that. Work's picking up again. I got shows like 5 days a week, at least, between 4 and 5 all this month, so that's good. I got to add some more onto my schedule, actually. And even though it'll have already passed by the time you see this, I'll be playing in my first major tournament, 40K, since the Las Vegas Open back at the end of January. And this is going to be in a week from now, the 18th, 19th of August. Saturday, Sunday, 2 days, 5 rounds, not 6 rounds. It's not a a grand tournament. It's just a Or actually, wait a minute. No, it is a grand. It's not a major grand tournament. That's what it is. Majors are like the big ones, like Vegas or Lone Star in Texas, and some other ones like that. And it's based on like attendance size. I think under 65, it's just a regular GT Grand Tournament. So, got that coming up. That's the Hammer of Wrath. That's put on by my local store, and some friends actually are the tournament organizers for that. Not that kind of friends though either. There's no like favoritism. You know, the guys on my team who are judges, they're cool actually. If you like Warhammer, go listen to the TFG Radio. That's their podcast. You know, the tournament, they're generally judges and off and on kind of TO tournament organizer type of thing, and they also judge the Las Vegas Open, which is also like the end of the season for the those of us who are more competitive. But anyways, yeah, Hammer of Wrath is as I was saying, it's run by the judges and TOs who are on our team. But also, like I was saying, there's no favoritism. If anything, they'd be harder on teammates. But we also don't team up with people who skirt the rules and stuff. So it's also like they kind of trust us in that regards. But and then obviously anybody who's judging isn't playing. So there's also that. Anywho, so that'll be my first one since Vegas. There's no travel involved, which is fine. Whatever. But it'll be nice. And nice to have a nice, good event. You know, maybe meet some more people and get some practice in with my knights, which I also, unfortunately, well, I had to, because I thought I was going to be dealing with like a lot of home stuff. I had to bow out of our local league for this heat because I wasn't sure what was going to happen with the home life too. So I wasn't sure if some of my roommates were going to try and like move out anyway, which would have been fine, but we kind of managed to go through everything and everybody's staying for now, so that's nice. Ooh. Not forever, of course, but at the time of our choosing, if that makes sense. Anyway, well, what sucks is since I'm not in the league, I also wasn't able to get any practice with the new tournament pack that came out, which they've been putting out like a new book every, I want to say 6 months or so, where they kind of like tweak the missions and the secondaries and all that. And this one is a bit of an upset because it really hampers on one of like the main things that you use in game, which are there's command points that you start with and get as the game progresses, and you use those on stratagems, which can kind of like, you can kind of gotcha people, and it also provides like a big temporary bonus, just stuff like that, right? Well, in the new mission pack, they changed the rules, so they cut the amount of points that you start with in half. So it went from 12 base down to 6. They did make it easier to gain them in a turn, so now like you gain your one every player turn instead of battle round, which is, you know, one and then the other. But then they also made like the initial warlord trait and army relic that you take, you have to pay for that now as well. And I mean, I think overall I don't mind. Obviously most of the people that are complaining, there were, it was funny because there were people who like literally the day the book came out, I would see in posts on Facebook like, we need to have our free warlord traits and our free relics back It's like, what's this Wii? Maybe you should, I don't know, learn to play the goddamn game, get good at it. Because, like, yeah, an extra point or two should not, break you. Really, it shouldn't really change that much. I guess I kind of also don't mind either because, I'm playing Imperial Knights and I switched up the list so I actually get more command points to begin with, and I get even more as the game goes on. I'll have to check the exact ruling. I think it's only like once per round I get, an additional one on top. But whatever. Oh yeah, stuff's good. Let's see. And then the next one after that I'm pretty sure, I gotta check the tickets again, but like usually the first one in a season that I go to, well, forget that sentence. That didn't mean anything. Another one that I like to go to that often is like the first major of the season for me, at least because I haven't been able to make the Hammer of Wrath that much, but the next one after that would be for me is the SoCal Open, which is down in San Diego. I forget the town, but that one I really like. That's in the middle beginning of October, so kind of like a birthday present to myself. But I like that one because they play at the expo, in the expo hall, or they set it up in the expo hall down in at the fairgrounds in, goddamn it, Playa del Rey, Marina del Rey, whatever. But there's fairgrounds, so there's like a horse track and a bunch of other, and like a park grounds, which of course we don't have anything to do with. But then yeah, off the horse track they have, a couple expo halls, and it's huge, first of all. And well, it's big enough so that even on the first day when everybody shows up, and not just Warhammer, but you also have like probably going to be a bigger number this year actually, but there's a huge chunk playing Age of Sigmar, which is like the fantasy version. And then of course you also have like your tables playing, Kill Team. I think Blood Bowl, they still do. And then a couple other gaming systems. But the expo hall is so big that the tables are insanely spaced out. Like you could literally run in a circle around this table and not be worried about, hitting anything. And that's every table. And then of course as things the second day, whenever, after people are like dropping and stuff like that, then there's even more room. I do hope that this time that they really finally buckle down on having a good amount of food vendors. I think because since it is a fairground, like they kind of have to use their people, which is fine, but they should. I know the last time I went, they did have a significant increase in like food and food options. It's still expensive, of course, because it's bullshit fairgrounds. Which, I mean, I get it. That's like one of the main ways that venues actually make money. But yeah, they did better. I know they ran out of a few things, which is unfortunate, but whatever. What was I saying? And the last time I went, I don't remember exactly where I stayed. I want to say that the last time I went is when our team, or one of the guys on our team, got an Airbnb. This is back when it was still good. And yeah, we all rented out like this nice big house that was like a couple blocks from the beach. We didn't go to the beach or anything like that, because it was cold already. But we did like barbecue and all that fun stuff. That was a good trip. And I think, and I know, I think the 2 before, my friends and I just stayed at a hotel nearby. There's the first time we went, it was like a, oh shit, was it? I don't remember exactly. Actually, no. I think that one we just stayed. We just been staying at the Best Western every time I went. I know the other one that there's another one that's like late spring, Bay Area open, but I don't usually end up going to that one because that one's all the way up in the Bay Area. Of course, Bay Area open, which is 5 hours away, which would make it the furthest one that I've ever gone to. Though I should maybe once like my life settles down, I might also try and make the Arizona GT, because I know we have one teammate who he keeps trying to get people out there where he's at, but apparently he's also going to be moving to Europe for the rest of his life in a couple years, so maybe not. I can ignore that, but yeah, I know Bay Area Open is one that, well, a lot of people go to. I would hate to be like the San Diego people, because for them that's like a 7-hour drive, assuming they don't just like get on a plane or something like that. But yeah, I'd only been up there once, and I know I went with my friends who, most of who still played regularly at the time, and we found like a nice hotel that was, it was like Hindu Zen themed. It was interesting because like they had like a bunch of little bamboo trees and stuff like that, and like Buddha statues all around. Maybe like some hanging scrolls or whatever with like some kanji and stuff like that. But really, it was still just like a strip hotel with all the doors on the outside. Actually, I think that's what a motel is, isn't it? Where there's no hallways. I bet that's what it is. I never thought of that until just now. Almost 36. Well, on the bright side, I'm sure I did better than some of you all. Anyways, so maybe that one's already come and gone. I'd have to wait until next year, of course, 2023. And anyways, I also have time to at least finish painting one of my my baby nights that I got to get done before Hammer of Wrath. I got a week and a half now. That'd be fine. I'll get it done. And you all will eventually see it, assuming that you tune into the other channels I got on here, namely Poncho's Paint Booth in that case. It's all my Warhammer and hobby stuff, and so some other. I do get the occasional other model. I will eventually, once I have like a little bit more spending money, I'll also throw or time, I guess. I'll also throw in Marvel Crisis Protocol models in there, and those I will definitely sell off eventually. But I mean, well, you know, I'll add that to the list of the other million things that I probably won't do with my life. We'll see. Painting models I will do. It's the selling that's probably I'll just like procrastinate on, because I never really sold anything. Okay. Let's see. I've got notes and articles to kind of help us get through tonight at least. I think I'll do one and then the other. So, let's see. What's this first one? Ezra Miller. I remember now. So Ezra, he played the Flash in the DC movies. most notably for like a very little tiny bit in Batman vs Superman, and then he was in, what was it? Justice League, of course. Anyway, so he has recently landed into a lot of trouble because he basically got arrested in Hawaii for getting into fights twice. And, you know, they threw him in jail, slapped him around, all that stuff. And apparently, like, the nature of his fighting or aggressiveness or, God, what's the word? The nature of his instigation, I guess would be the best way to put it, was rather homophobic and or misogynistic in nature. I think he's actually he's either in jail or out on bail. My voice is about to go. In jail. Yeah, so he's screwed, more or less. But the point that I was going to make was, or the reason that I wrote the notes, because I saw a thing about how people were saying, like, you know, oh, the Flash should just be pulled, right? Actually, there's another kind of a side story, but the point is, people are saying, like, you know, the Flash should be pulled because of Ezra's behavior, which you with that kind of thing, you have to factor in how far along the production is. So I don't have any problem with movies being pulled because of, you know, like, a reason or whatever, really. I mean, maybe, who knows? But this movie has already been more or less finished. Right? And now they have said, they haven't said that they're not going to do it. It does sound like they are going to go ahead and continue with releasing the movie. But the point that I'm trying to make is, like, it doesn't make any sense to... It would be... It's stupid to think that you can go and pull, like, stop something that's already finished. Right? If that makes sense. But then on the studio side, I think it's also extremely stupid to, like, at the last minute shelve something that's already finished. I think the only instance that I heard about a movie being pulled for some reasons, I remember that there was, like, that I remember hearing a story about a movie that featured the Twin Towers in New York, and then, like, a couple weeks before it was set to release, that's when 9/11 happened. So then they said, like, okay, yeah, we can't show this, like, at all. This has to go away. This is not that case. This is not, you know, a terrorist attack that killed 3,000 people. This is just one drunk fucking idiot who just happens to be famous, and nobody died. Like, he got slapped around worse than anybody. It seems that's probably also from being in jail. Drunk as shit too, probably. But the point is I think that, you know, the Flash movie should go ahead and release. Yeah, and I mean, plus also, you know, unless you could somehow tell me that Ezra Miller also did, like, all the visual effects, all of the editing, all of the sound replacement and all that shit. Unless you could tell me that, then there's, like, a couple thousand people that you'd just be screwing over if you pulled the movie at the last minute. Now, that being said, there's also kind of a bit of a side note, because also DC is Warner Brothers, right? At the same time, they were also making a Batgirl movie, which I don't know that much about it, other than the fact that I think like the lead actress is black, which is, different from the actual character. So that's, whatever. But apparently, well, this ties into what I just said, because apparently that movie, Batgirl, was also finished, but then they did actually pull it at the last second. This happened not too long ago. So that and the reason that they I don't even remember. I don't think they even gave a reason. Like, they just did. They were just like, we're not going to show this. It seems like I'm sure there is something I'm forgetting, but it's not as bad as the Ezra Miller thing. So it like on the one hand, they were smart for not pulling a movie that was done, but then on the other hand, they also pulled a movie that was done for less of a reason than why they would have pulled the other movie, which is dumb. And that's Warner Brothers for you. That's why I also don't tell, whenever I apply for VFX jobs, I don't tell anybody about this podcast, because that would not be good help yet. Although, I mean, I have considered maybe just like trying to find other avenues of work, or more lucrative ones anyway. Let's see now. So Ezra's done one way or another. And speaking of actors and their behavior, first article I got is Fast 10 director exit reportedly due to Vin Diesel's on-set behavior. Okay, so this article is actually kind of old. It's in May. But, I mean, the news is still the same either way, because this movie hasn't come out yet. Now, what's interesting is that the director here, which, I forget the name, and I'm not going to scroll down, but he had already directed 3 other Fast and Furious movies. I want to say, I think the first one, it was either the first or the second, and then a couple more, and then I think like the 4th and 5th, maybe something like that. This would have been his 4th Fast and Furious movie, so it wasn't like he was just coming in, brand spanking new, and like, oh, screwed up, so I'm leaving. Nothing like that. No, he had a long-standing relationship with all these actors and everything like that. And now apparently, also like in the last couple movies, there was some problems with the way Vin Diesel kind of ran things, because he technically owns the Fast and Furious franchise, or at least is the majority or whatever. But apparently, like, he would just be really unprofessional, just kind of like showing up late, never really in acting shape, that kind of bullshit, which is actually part of the reason that the Hobbs and Shaw movie ended up getting made, because, well, I don't know so much about Statham. I don't think he really cared, but it was just kind of for his character. But what's his name? The Rock, who played Hobbs, basically just a big guy. He after the last movie that they had together, which was number 8, I believe it was either 7 or 8. He was like, I'm not working with this guy at all, whatever. And then they made Hobbs and Shaw. He did that, but then even after that, he was like, I'm not coming back to this franchise, which is kind of too bad, because I know the idea of that spinoff was that Fast 10 would actually be the last of the main Fast and Furious story. And then I guess like Hobbs and Shaw was supposed to spin off into at least a couple other movies, but it sounds like that's kind of done. Which is, like you would think, even though the Rock is like, that's obviously a lot of money. So he's choosing like his personal values over, staying with that. And well, I mean, we'll see how things go. I would kind of hope that they make like another Hobbs and Shaw, because they were building into something. You could tell there was like a little cliffhanger at the end. The disembodied bad guy voice was like, "I know who you are, you know who I am, but you don't know." Ha 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 ha. And then it just ended. It's kind of bullshit, but that's life. So yeah, Vin Diesel apparently sucks. Is also an actor, and Water is Wet. So not a whole lot new there. Getting back to my own notes, this was another funny one that I found is I saw like some articles about like interesting facts about Adam Sandler, and well, interestingly, I need another swig. But one of the facts that was in there was I would say if you've seen Happy Gilmore, but everybody's seen Happy Gilmore. And there's the one scene where he's on his way up the rankings, playing in tournaments till he can play the Masters, I think it is. But on his way up, he plays against Bob Barker, and he ends up getting into like a fight with Bob Barker. Not Adam Sandler and Bob Barker, but Happy Gilmore and Barker. And the thing is at the time of the movie, he was already an old white dude with white hair, right? And well, we all know how movies are made. But what I found out is apparently Bob Barker, even though being an old man, he demanded that he do the fight scenes himself. And he was like, "I want to be hit, and I want to hit Adam Sandler in the face." That kind of shit. Like that. So that was like a staged real fight that they had out there on the green. like Adam, like they actually punched each other in the face, and it was Bob Barker. There was no stunt double, I think, except for like maybe he got knocked down at some point. Maybe they used a stunt double there, but for the most part, it was real. Like he Jackie Chan'd it. Basically, he just did it all himself. And that's cool. I haven't seen Happy Gilmore in a while. I haven't really seen any new Adam Sandler movies either. I think, this isn't actually an Adam Sandler movie, but I think I haven't really seen much from his side after, I want to say, like, the second Grown Ups movie was probably like the last thing connected to him that I really watched. And that one in itself was more meant to be just like a gimmicky, fun movie, and it was. They basically just sort of beat the shit out of everybody in there. It's kind of the best way to put it. Let's see. Let's move on to, well, I got some news about a different actor. This one's interesting. Luke Evans, Dracula Untold 2 could rise from the grave. This was as of last spring. I don't know how relevant this article is anymore, but a few years ago, Luke Evans played in Dracula Untold, which is basically the story of how I think King Vlad, so Vlad the Impaler, came to strike a deal with another vampire. I don't know who he is, but he is also kind of in the end of the movie. Like, they tease it in the modern era, but he strikes a deal with another vampire who had, I guess, like, kind of gotten himself in exile or whatever, couldn't go anywhere. But then Vlad becomes, well, he was known as the Dragon, and he becomes Dracula, which is, some form of the dragon, basically. And, sort of saves his kingdom from the Persians, I think it was. Yeah, it was either the Persians or Arabs, so he saves his kingdom and kind of stops them from going into Europe, I guess. But he's dead. He's given his soul to the devil and become a vampire. And I know that there's a part where, like, one of his son, I guess, he had, like, the priests take him away to live as a human or what have you, because his own people, in the movie, his own people try to kill him whenever they find out that he's a vampire or whatever, but then they realize that he's, like, kind of fighting for them. It's good times. But what was I gonna say? But no, like the ending scene of the movie was Luke Evans is, like, in New York City during the day or whatever, wearing a suit or whatever, like modern times, like now. And then he like finds somebody who kind of looks like his long lost wife or whatever, and they go off to have a cup of coffee or whatever. And then at the same time, like, you also find out as a viewer that he's been shadowed by the original vampire who he got his powers from, and it's kind of like some sort of great unholy game or whatever, which I would imagine that would be what the second movie's about, if it ever happens. So fingers crossed. This movie was good. Also, on a random side note, I really do hope that they one of these days make a movie with Orlando Bloom and Luke Evans. It doesn't have to be like anything cool or whatever. I just think that'd be interesting, because they kind of look the same, and they kind of do the same thing. You got Legolas and Dracula. I will say this: neither of them have been in a Marvel movie yet, so there's that. Who knows? Who knows? And actually, speaking of Marvel, not an article, but I did see news that apparently there is a Marvel Midnight Suns film sort of in the works. So I don't actually know what Midnight Suns is, but I'm assuming it's like a story arc that existed somewhere else in Marvel. What I do know is that the cover that I saw was Daredevil, Punisher, Moon Knight, and someone else. The Ghost Rider. Which would make it a Marvel Knights story. Which Marvel Knights is kind of like the shady underground version of Marvel, which involves those characters, and it's all like they're either dealing with like criminals or the occult, and just everything in between. So I don't know what the Midnight Story arc actually is, but it'll be interesting to see if they do actually do something like that. Especially, like I said, the Punisher. Especially if they make sure to keep John Bernthal, which I hope they do, because they managed to get Charlie Cox to stay as Daredevil, as they should. And from what I understand, it sounds like they want to try and get everybody else back in, as they should. I would even go so far. I personally liked the Iron Fist shows, so they should keep them all in there. And maybe do the Hand better this time. How? Who knows? Let's see. Actually, speaking of Daredevil, he's going to be in quite a few things. I think I already talked about this last month, but yeah, he's going to do. He has his own TV series coming, which is 16 episodes long, which is a lot for a Marvel Disney Plus show, or any Disney Plus show actually. But then before that, he's going to be in She-Hulk and something else. Who cares? Two big cameos, major cameos, I guess, and then his own shit. Why can't I remember? Whatever. Who cares? Anyways, here we go. Another Marvel one. Back to my last article I got here. This one's cool. Jon Hamm reacts to playing Mr. Sinister in Marvel's X-Men reboot. So I guess. So this isn't like a confirmed thing, but this is something that he himself wants to do. So they are bringing the X-Men in some form into the MCU. They're doing like their own whole new thing. I don't know how or with who. Maybe new people, kind of, hopefully. But a while back they made the New Mutants movie, and this one was about some of the newer mutants and a couple old ones too. It was about Magic, who it's like with a CK. That's not just. I'm not talking about like Magic in general. That's the mutant's name. It was like Magic, Sunspot, I think, and there was like a couple others. And apparently Jon Hamm was originally supposed to play Mr. Sinister in that movie. Or actually, yeah, now I remember. So the idea of that movie was that they had the kids going to mutant school, right? But it turns out that they weren't actually going to something that was Xavier's mutant school. They were going to, and I forget like the character's actual name, but Mr. Sinister's like own school, where he would eventually kind of like help them build up their powers and then eventually harvest them for his own purposes. But he doesn't ever actually show up in the movie. They just use his name. And apparently Jon Hamm was supposed to actually play Mr. Sinister on screen and show up and do stuff. So that's why that's basically what this article's saying, is he's game. He is in the pocket. No, that's not right. He's basically saying, I'm down if you're down, which I'm down. I'd see that like the Matt. I wonder how they would do it. Probably be different. I wonder if they're like, now Mr. Hamm, you got to keep your arms crossed at like 90% of the time. That's what you are. And it would be MCU Marvel, so they would actually do it. Whatever it is, they'll do it right. I hope. We can only hope. Let's see. So I don't really have a whole lot else, but I do still have half a beer, which is sad. Actually, I should have finished this already. Slightly less. Now it's about half. Shit. Actually, what percentage was this? I didn't even really. 6%. Okay, so it's got some kick to it. Anyways, it's really only like halfway through the month. This month, I feel this month is going to be better for me. What's better for you means that you will get more content, which is nice, right? So I'll go ahead and leave you guys for now. I got like, ads and stuff and all that funsy onesies type of thing. I am still debating trying to get, another person in here, at least for like part of an episode or whatever. I have no idea how that's going to go. So I will think of that while you stay tuned and listen to what I came up with coming up in a little bit.